And welcome back, everyone, to the Arkins Hearth Podcast. I am your host, Michael Jason Chandler. Welcome back to the Arkins Hearth, a production by Not Dead Yet Productions. And I am so happy to be with you all this evening. Well, folks, we have a couple of announcements today. We are a RSS supported show. RSS is the company that we produce and release these episodes and all of our work through. If you're ever thinking about starting a podcast, please consider RSS. They have been excellent with us so far. Also, we have Patreon. Right now, we only have a $3 tier, but if you will go to patreon.com and find the Arkins Hearth and give us $3, it'll help us absolutely to hopefully buy better equipment and just up our game. So definitely please consider subscribing, and then in the very, very, very near future, we will be beginning a series for Patreon listeners at the $5 level where we will have bonus episodes, and we'll be beginning with a ginger-led John Wayne Gacy. So folks, $3 right now will get you our love and adoration, and then, as we are working, we will be recording the John Wayne Gacy episode very soon. And we will also be beginning more episodes. We're going to have our Super Crimes episodes where we are going to cover all of the big killers and the ones that we're not going to cover because they're not from the Four Corners, but they will be a part of our Patreon releases. So to my left is
Thorin Wolf, owner and proprietor of Arkins Juice Tavern and Arkins Hearth Gaming. To my left,
the Pixie, and I brought 15 Douglas dogs today.
There's so many dogs.
So many dogs.
And they're all named Douglas.
Okay, and to my left, the Ginger.
So many stuffed animals on the table.
So tonight, here at the Arkins Hearth Podcast, brought to you by Not Dead Yet Productions, we are going to be covering a subject that we've had some interest in covering for a while, at least Thorne and I did. I don't know about the rest of us, but it is the Devil's Highway.
Also known as the Old Highway 666.
And, it's neither of those anymore. They changed it. Actually, they changed it because people complained.
The old.
Well, excuse you.
The old, like Jason. The old.
Y'all done? Good?
I don't know how much.
It's now Route 491, which is not as cool.
Yeah, they did it on purpose, though.
No, they did. They made it not cool. Yeah. But no, we'll talk about it later because they're going to talk about how businesses didn't want to be connected to the 666 moniker.
I would totally put Arkins Juice Tavern.
How even awesome, come down to 66. Yeah, I know.
It's just for the lulz, not for anything actual,
I think it would have been cool, but whatever. So anyways, folks, this is the Devil's Highway. So there are roads that people avoid because they're dangerous. And there are roads that people avoid because they feel dangerous. U.S. Route 666 is both. Tonight we're going to drive through the Four Corners, through oil fields, the Navajo Reservation, and long stretches of nothing, where headlights feel like the only proof you still exist. This isn't a story about ghosts, not exactly, or UFOs, not specifically. It's not even a story about something watching you from the side of the road, but we're going to cover that too.
Kinda.
This is a story of a real deadly highway and how it became something entirely different. Why that happened, and even why we changed its name. But people still won't forget what happens out there. And they never forget the Devil's Highway, Route 666.
Before we start, I do want to do a couple shout-outs.
Okay.
So, since we're covering the Devil's Highway, I would actually like to shout out to my friend Ian and his store.
Mr. Ghost?
Mr. Ghost Trading Post.
Oh, that's a good one.
Absolutely.
There for all your horror needs.
Yeah, no, it's an all-year-long Halloween shop. It's awesome.
Pretty much. If you like spooky things,
it's
awesome. If you're into horror movies, if you're into Frankenstein, if you're into all sorts of stuff, go see Ian. I do not know the address of the store, but if you look it up, I guarantee you're going to find it.
Yeah, Mr. Ghost. They're on Main Street. It's easy to find. Old Farmington Main Street.
He's on TikTok too, Mr. Ghost Trading Post.
Yeah. Okay, so you had a couple. What else?
Also, D&D party that sits out here almost every Thursday listening to us record.
Oh, yes.
I'm not going to say their names. just
Okay.
because I don't have permission.
So
I
two.
figured Mr. Ghost Trading Post would actually like the shout out.
The shout out,
but I was like, hey guys, we see you and I appreciate you and thank you for listening to us.
Okay. Hey, thank you. Thank everybody for listening to us, but specifically this evening, thank you D&D players right outside the door.
Specifically, thank you for listening to the unedited
Craziness.
recording of the
Yeah.
podcast.
Us like busting up laughing.
We're so
behind
normal.
For like, yeah,
Right.
sure.
It didn't even look normal while you said that.
Yeah. U.S. Route 66 was commissioned in 1926, far before I was born.
Really?
Yes. Well,
By
you guys
2
usually...
years.
No,
He
Maybe a
saw
couple
my
more.
Face. He knew I was
I did, actually, because both of you, actually. No, this gets me by 52 years, but thanks. So in 1926, as part of the original U.S. highway system, it ran from Gallup, New Mexico, up through Colorado and Utah, and connected to larger routes heading north. It cut directly through some of the most remote terrain in the American Southwest. And from the very beginning, it had problems. Now, you have to realize what we're talking about is a very long, very straight, hypnotic stretch of road. If you've ever taken a long drive through a desert, you will realize that everything looks so similar that all of the images just begin blending together and you can feel like you're not even moving. A long trip can just, there's a road hypnosis and it can have a crazy effect.
It's spooky sometimes. Would you like me to talk about long road trips? I got you.
Go for it.
I moved out here from Nebraska up to the west. It was like a 16-hour road trip one way. And let me tell you, once we got out here, the road hypnosis was like super real. What he's talking about, because it's just long stretches of nothing.
Oh yeah, no,
Right.
driving through the Midwest, absolutely horrible.
You just get lost. I mean, you're just looking out and you're not seeing anything for miles and miles and miles and miles. And you get lost in the scenery. And people fall asleep. People get distracted. They stop paying attention to driving. Bad things can happen.
Should I tell my dad's favorite joke to tell on the pulpit? Oh, God.
Absolutely.
He always goes, I want to die in my sleep like my grandpa did, not screaming like the passengers in his car.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's such a dad
Really?
joke.
On the
Such a dad
pulpit?
joke.
Yes! On the pulpit.
On the pulpit.
The church
You know, he
program.
should
I
be
believe it.
He should be behind the pulpit. What was he standing on it for?
You know what? Jason. He wanted to feel tall.
Was he taking off his shirt and swinging it around? I'm just asking.
He wore like Snoopy. And
I mean, it explains why you're that kind of preacher's daughter.
Whoa!
I mean, Dad's standing on. Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey, you know what? I'm a big fan.
I'm never speaking again.
That's going to make you a very, very bad podcast host.
I'm just gonna cadoodle Anyway, so long roads.
Yes, wrong roads, long roads. So
This is 9 pages long. We gotta get.
it's a long script. You know, the long, straight, hypnotic stretches of road, including minimal lighting, poor maintenance, and in certain regions, heavy oil and trucking traffic, very limited emergency response. I mean, this could be in the middle of nowhere. And when you consider that it goes through the Navajo Nation, you actually are dealing with the state and the Navajo Nation. So if you break down somewhere, you may not even know who to call.
Ghostbusters.
Well, yes, they're going to definitely help you with a broke down car.
I actually had a friend that was driving from here to Albuquerque, and she got in a really bad car accident, and she was stuck upside down in her car for like 4 hours before anybody even got to her because it was that like middle of nowhere.
It's the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
and there are just not. I would not.
Upside down in the car with a broken spine for 4 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
God!
Yeah.
Thank God she's alive.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, she's alive. It's one of those.
Oh, she's good now.
She's good
fine,
now.
but-
Okay, good.
But it was really bad.
Yeah, can't imagine that being good. I mean, and I'm not trying to criticize the Navajo Nation. It's just really long and they don't have a lot of police officers. So emergency response can be really slow and kind of spotty. So locals have a name other than, of course, Route 666 or the Devil's Highway. They also call it the Killer Highway. Head-on collisions are common, not rare, common. Drivers attempting to pass slow-moving trucks on 2-lane roads with poor visibility, combined with fatigue, sometimes alcohol, it is New Mexico, and long distances between towns, and you would have a perfect storm. And there's something important that often gets lost. It's what I was talking about before, the huge portion of Route 666 that passes through the reservation. That is as I said, the jurisdictional overlap between tribal and state authorities. They're often underfunded, and when accidents happen, and they did frequently, help was not always close. Like Pixie said, her friend was there for 4 hours.
It was really bad.
This part is not paranormal. This is geography. This is policy and infrastructure. And it killed people. So now let's talk about something that's a bit more sensitive, but also very real. The Route 666 corridor runs through areas that have long struggled with missing person cases among Native communities. This issue is often discussed under the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women movement. Now, to be clear, there's no confirmed Route 666 serial killer. People have suggested a pipeline. There's never been any evidence of that. There's no single predator stalking this road, or there might not be a single predator. There might be many. But what does exist is something more complicated and in a lot of ways more unsettling. These cases remain unsolved. They cross multiple jurisdictions. They lack consistent investigation and resources historically. And when people go missing in the vast rural terrain, sometimes they're never found. And there are no answers. And that's where the stories begin. Because where there's no explanation, humans create one.
I do want to cover some of those stories on future episodes.
I do too. I've wanted to. I've kind of reached out to police, and I've tried to get people to quote. I think we should look at the group that puts up the pictures of the missing people. I've long noticed a pattern with women that go missing in this area, often being young, teens to 20s, Hispanic or Navajo, dark-skinned, dark-eyed. I'm just saying, a lot go missing.
This is a reminder for me to tell you about the 2 active serial killers in Alabama.
Yeah, we mentioned that. Remember that
I'm
there's...
going there and
Don't tell people that.
Pixie will be going
I didn't
to
say
Albuquerque
shut the
very
fuck up.
soon, and we'll drop pictures so that you know who to look for.
Okay.
So let's address the obvious, the number. So 666 is known as the number of the beast. It's commonly associated with the book of Revelation, where it is referred to as the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast in the Bible is a reference to that which is opposite of God, that which is evil or impure. When you say that it is about the devil, it actually is far more connected to the Antichrist, but people put a lot more into it than it actually exists in the Bible. It's more of a pretty short reference.
I think it's like one syllabus or whatever.
It's just one part, and I also would make an argument, people are like really into the 666 thing being the mark of the beast. And I'm like, that's translated from Greek to German to English. And I mean, I don't even know if that's right.
But we can find it everywhere. I mean, look at the Monster can. They were saying like when Monster first came out, it was getting really, really big. The three.
Oh yeah. People have definitely blown it up.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But I don't even know if it's, I would want a cunning linguist to look at the Greek and the Latin and the English and tell me if it really says 666 or if that's a mistranslation.
Absolutely.
I don't, but whatever. Originally, Route 66 wasn't named for anything sinister. It was just a spur on US Route 66. That's it.
Was there also a 566 and no 466?
I mean, it was just, it's boring highway math is what it was. It's just you have spurs, and it just happened to be that this spur of Route 66 was really, really long. It went all the way up into Colorado. It just was a really long stretch of road.
Really quick, I need to do 2 things.
Okay.
Pixie, cunnilingus. That's what I thought. I knew it.
Wait, what?
You said cunning linguist.
Cunning?
That's what I thought.
You know what?
Pixie, please breathe.
Pixie, I could always count on you. You know that? Cunning linguist is someone who's good with their mouth. Languages. So back to boring highway math. Yeah, no, it was just an offshoot of Route 66. But perception matters. And over time, people began to request a change. Not because the road was haunted or scary. Nothing had really happened at that point. It was just a name of a road. But businesses along the road didn't want the association. That's why they wanted it changed.
To be fair, Jason, though, there was a lot of stories that did come off that highway. Like, this is where most people see the lady in white. This would be where people would see...
And people do see the lady white. They actually see the lady white far more along waterways.
I understand, but
this
is one of those.
They do.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is when it was first coined, 666, it was just an offshoot of a highway.
Yeah.
Then people freaked out about the number.
The number.
And then, because it's a really long stretch of highway, bad stuff happened. And in the desert, in the dark, bad things happened. And then we started seeing things.
No, absolutely. I understand. I just want to let you know that ghost stories do come from this highway. And
we're only in part 4 of like 11.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We'll get there.
No, someone who rides a motorcycle at night on a long stretch of highway that has no streetlights.
Right.
You've done it before. You don't know where those headlights coming straight towards you are off to the right or not. Are off to the left.
Well, and so especially, and this is true, we've talked about this before, it's incredibly low light. You've got the headlights, you might have some moonlight, and that's it.
That's it.
It's dark. And what happens to human brains in low light? We start seeing figures. We start seeing things moving around. It was bound to happen. The original reason, I'm not talking about the ghost stories and stuff that come later. In the very beginning, people didn't like it because they didn't like to have that address. They didn't want that number on their address.
Right.
But it wasn't until 2003. So that's from 1926 to 2003 before it was officially redesignated into U.S. Route 491.
I was 1.
It's great.
If you were 1, I was probably 3.
2. You were 2.
3.
3. Wow, 2001?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my...
Wait, 2001, I was also 1.
I was 24.
Yes, I was. No, I was 0.
I want to say I was a freshman. Wait, when did 9/11 happen? That was 2001.
Right.
Yeah, no, I was a freshman in high school.
Dude,
Okay.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. literally died like the day before I was born.
Huh.
I remember.
Well, I remember that. Yeah.
Like,
I think I remember all of this a lot better than you.
Life, and then I was born.
I did not gain consciousness until I was 5.
Well, I remember, Dale Earnhardt, I remember when he died.
My
And
dad's favorite.
I remember 9/11 because I was going to work. Like, it's a just different perspectives.
0 hour.
Yep.
My
Farmington
grandpa
High
was almost
School.
the teacher on this Challenger.
Oh my god, dude, my dad's too.
I watched the Challenger
Yeah.
with my class. And
So did my
watched it blow
dad.
up.
Yeah, my
Yep.
grandpa was a finalist.
Oh, we
And then-
cried.
So was my
We
dad's
cried.
teacher.
Everybody cried. That was a rough day, man.
Anyway, that's not the topic we're on. I'm so sorry.
Anyways, yeah, no. So
We
they
were
renamed
talking
it.
about
They
things.
renamed it to Route 491 in 2003, and that solved all the problems, right?
Nope.
No.
Not even close. Because by this point, the stories had already taken hold. So this is where we make the turn. Up until this point, we've been talking about the grounded, documentable, and explainable long highway problems. From here on, we're going to go a little bit above reality to what's not necessarily proven, but persistent and weirdly consistent. So drivers along Route 666, now 491, so boring, have reported a lot of strange things for decades. Not necessarily monsters or ghosts, but cars. Headlights appearing behind them, gaining speed, and then gone.
Wait, like that truck in Supernatural?
So this is something, and I have a personal experience with this, and I'll talk about that in a second. So this is, there have been a lot of reports, and this has been around since I was little, and I actually experienced this myself. Headlights appearing behind them, then gaining speed, and then being gone. Then a vehicle passes them, clearly visible, only to vanish on a straight, empty road. So it goes past you, it speeds down the road, and then it's gone. And you're like, wait, did they just go over a hill or something? But you never see it.
There are no hills.
There are no hills.
Like,
it's
it
straight. You drive and you're like, where did they disappear? Where's the off road? Where are they pulled off to the side of the road? And they're just gone.
Ghosty cars.
And it also can get worse.
Vehicles.
And this is what happened to me. Being followed for miles. Just a car behind you, matching your exact speed perfectly, then they're gone.
I would nope all the way out of there. Hell no.
Not just no, hell no.
I would feel better about that if there were turnoffs on that road.
There are not.
I have absolutely ridden that road before.
Oh yeah, no.
There's nothing. I think there's like one or two like turnoffs, like the like different like.
Well, it's interesting because here in a little bit, I talk about a very specific, and I'm just going to say, this continues with there's no turnoffs, there's no exits. There's just empty highway for miles and miles and miles. Yeah. And this is not only, it's a common trope in America and the highways. However, we have a very specific version of this for Route 666. And it keeps getting retold. It's been told since I was a kid. And I myself, quote unquote, experienced it. I remember being on the road and I remember seeing the car. A dark, unmarked sedan. For whatever reason, you can't see the plates. It appears suddenly behind you. You see the lights. It keeps an exact distance. It doesn't pass for a long time and doesn't fall back. Then, if you pull over, it's gone. The lights vanish. If you don't pull over, keep driving, it follows you for miles. Until suddenly it speeds up and you see it coming up behind you and it comes really close to the back of your vehicle. Then it whips around you and drives forward for a while. And then it's
nothing.
Gone. Blinks out of existence.
Zero.
It's gone.
When people report this, is it always like the same model of car?
It's always a black sedan. That's like, I've heard this story, unmarked
like
black
early
sedan.
90s model, like.
It's
sedan.
funny. When I was a kid, it was the 70s, black 70s car, because I'm older.
Well, the thing
But
is,
I was a kid. That was the story, though.
That is absolutely two different cars. I was just saying, like.
I think it's always a black car, and it's always not easy. I've heard the 90s, I've heard the 1980s, I've heard the 70s, but people never say what kind of car it is. It's just a black car.
Yeah, no, I just know it's black car,
and no one can really see what car it is, and you can't really see the plates. It might look like it has plates, but you can't read them.
Wonder if it's an old patrol car, like an old Stater. You know what I mean?
If somebody's messing with you, they just go black. For years, they've been driving down the road.
They've been driving there for years. They're like 1970s Caprice or something.
I don't know that I believe in the ghost car, folks, but it's a story I've heard, and I had an experience where that happened to me. That a car disappeared and it was scary, but we weren't hurt. I would ask the question, so was that just in my head? And I created it in my head in the middle of the desert on a dark highway late at night.
I want to sing a song so bad, but I'm absolutely not going to.
Okay. So now we're going to move on to another part. So we're going to tread a little carefully here because this involves very real cultural beliefs. And I'm going to state specifically that for the Navajo people, when I talk about this is not a cryptid. This is not a monster. This is a very, very real thing for a lot of people in our area. It's a dark part of their beliefs, and it is not something that they really want people talking about. So the term that we're talking about here is skinwalker, and this is from Navajo tradition. It's important to say that this is not for casual storytelling. It's serious, and it is a subject that in this area should be avoided. Every story I've ever heard is from somebody who said, I'm not supposed to talk about this, but let me tell you a story. I'm not saying that that is what people are seeing. However, one of the things that I came across in researching this is people who experienced animals behaving strangely or acting wrong, which is, I've been told, a sign. Dark figures standing near a road that don't seem to move, but then when the headlights hit them, they suddenly run off on all fours and disappear into the darkness.
Spooky.
And that has also been something that Navajo people have told me what that is.
Yes.
It is something in this area that is not to be played around and not to be joked, but it's something that comes up enough on Route 666. I wanted to bring it up. I would say that this is likely human beings seeing things in low light and seeing figures, and then maybe they see animals moving, running around, and connecting the shadow figures that they're seeing in the darkness with maybe real animals that are moving around. But these unexplained encounters, filtered through cultural misunderstanding, can sometimes cause fear.
I would like to say sometimes the animals on the side of the road in the middle of the night be doing spooky shit.
That is so true.
Because one time I took Pixie down to Albuquerque. Listen, it was scary. Pixie
Okay.
fell asleep on the way home because it was nighttime.
People fall asleep at nighttime a lot of times.
In the span of like 15 minutes, there was no one else in the car. It was me and Pixie. I was trying to keep myself awake. A deer jumped out from the side of the road. not jumped into the road, but
The worst part was when he tap danced.
No, listen. He jumped out from the side of the road and just like stood there. And like when I passed him, he was like inches away from my window. Just stood there, didn't move, wasn't spooked. That was instance number 1. And then, not 15 minutes
If you've ever
later,
driven in Colorado, I've had deers jump out in front of me and be like, what?
Listen, but these ones were acting
It was
weird.
rat season.
Freaking coyote ran out in front of my car and then just stopped in the middle of the road. And I was like,
So,
why are you acting
Have you
strange?
ever heard of the term deer in headlights?
yeah, that's
It wasn't
where.
in my headlights.
What isn't fun is when they're on 2 legs.
Uh-huh.
So,
But let's move on.
You saw
I
them on
mean,
2
there
legs?
was a boy. Yes, I have seen that too. So, anyways,
Are you
I
still
have.
for real?
I don't want to talk about it.
Wait, do deer actually do that?
Please.
So, anyways, I can tell you that at one point I was driving home on Lightner Creek Road when I was living out in the middle of this creek. It's a very dark, very haunted creek with bears and animals everywhere. And I was driving home, and there, sitting in the middle of the road, like he owned it, was a mountain lion. And he did not care that I was a large red truck. He just looked at me like, what you gonna do? And so I very carefully drove around him because I share the world with giant mountain lions that can kill me. No, I mean, animals do crazy stuff, but you know.
Well, and like with deer and things, you hear about like chronic wasting disease where their brain starts to waste away and you see them doing like odd shit. Like,
Well, and sometimes deer just see lights coming and jump out on the road. I mean, it happens. That's why there are deer crossing signs and looking out for deer signs all over Colorado. That's why, I mean, no disrespect. That sounds like it was a freaky situation.
It was spooky because I was at night and Pixie was asleep.
No, and I get it. I've driven to Denver, driving up to Denver and driving through Durango a million times and all over Colorado. Deer just going, I'm going to jump on the road. What you going to do?
Oh,
is
here
not-
in Farmington, like when I used
That's
to
true.
do like graveyard shifts and stuff for like security or whatever, there's just deer walking down the road, like an entire
Yeah.
family.
They don't care.
They don't care. Like nobody else is on the road except you.
I've seen deer casually in people's yards in Farmington.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
there's one at the
So I
park
have
the other
turkeys.
day.
No.
Turkeys.
I have trees at my house. I'm in a part of Farmington that is, I'm surrounded by trees. There aren't a lot of places like that in Farmington, but there are a few. And we will literally, my wife has pictures of turkeys in trees.
Yeah.
Just standing in the trees. We get deer running through. I mean, yeah, no. If you've got trees, they'll come. So anyways.
I had a cow in my yard once, but that was a long time ago.
Random
Well, you know,
cow.
there are more cows in New Mexico than there are people. So
Cow bomb.
we had that conversation in another episode. So drivers often report losing track of time when driving, which again, when you're driving long distances on flat terrain where not a lot's changing, but driving hours can feel like minutes. You can miss exits or entire stretches of road. This overlaps with something very real, which is highway hypnosis, which I talked about earlier. A state where your brain essentially goes into autopilot for a long period of time and you just drive the monotonous distance, whatever that is, and then you sort of snap out of that.
And you forget,
And you're like, oh my God, it's been so long. Was I even paying attention?
I can't remember where it was, but there's this bridge that's like the longest bridge in the U.S. and you get to the middle of the bridge and you can't see land either which way. And a lot of people stop at that point and just do not move. Like they have a secondary lane for police officers to patrol this bridge to make sure that people aren't just like stopping because they have highway psychosis like you're talking about.
Right.
Because people will freak out, get out of their cars and just like leap off the bridge for like no reason. Like,
humans are crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the brain does crazy stuff. And, losing track, all of that stuff. The thing about the Devil's Highway, though, is that people don't just usually say they zoned out. And I think Thorne's going to be able to speak to this too. They say something happened.
yeah.
There's always a story about the car, the weird animals, the man standing on the side of the road that vanished behind the hills. There's always something. So obviously it's aliens.
Oh boy. Not again. More aliens. Ah!
Come on.
I knew it.
It's the Four Corners. And
It's
so,
Four Corners.
since we're in the Four Corners area, it has to be UFOs. Yes, folks, we have had strange lights that pace vehicles. Maybe it's aliens. Objects hovering silently.
It's gotta
Aliens.
be aliens.
It's gotta be. Sudden vertical movement that aircraft can't replicate. This will tie in the broader regional lore that we may have discussed in an earlier Alien trilogy.
If you
So
haven't
please,
heard
yeah.
it, go listen.
If you haven't
to
heard, please listen to it. We talk about this is Alien Central, but this,
I don't hate the alien stories, but folks, like it took us. So those were some of our first episodes. We re-recorded those episodes 6 times each. So I am absolutely alien.
We did not.
Just a little bit.
It was only really the first one we recorded 7 times.
Yeah.
And then the second and third were like 2 and 3 times each. But yeah, by the time we were done with it, we'd recorded those 3 episodes 13 times.
Yeah.
By the time we were done, we were done.
Which is why it's time for aliens. No, I mean,
Alien time.
no, but around here, you can't have strange, weird stuff without saying it's aliens.
Our
That's
first
just how it
t-shirt
is.
should just be us looking up at a UFO and going like,
No.
not again.
Now, obviously, this falls into speculation. But with the sightings, all of the many things reported, and the deserts are perfect for it. Right, guys?
Right.
The clear skies, the low light pollution, long sight
Beautiful
lines.
stars.
Yeah,
Like,
sometimes
especially on your bike when you're wearing your helmet, and it's
Sure,
just- yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
But sometimes the sky plays tricks on you, folks. And sometimes it's really aliens. Right? Right?
Which time? Give me evidence.
All of the times.
All of the
All of
time?
the
Yes,
Okay.
it's always aliens.
Every time.
So
It's
make
always
sure you're
aliens.
wearing your aluminum foil hat.
Hey, don't knock it till you tried it. They're very comfortable.
Tinfoil hat?
I
Aluminum
thought-
foil, tinfoil is the same thing.
Tin is the better material.
Excuse me, we're almost a global podcast now. It's aluminium.
You're right.
Aluminum.
That's the British way.
It's
Wait,
none of those.
tin and aluminum
No!
thing? Okay, I'm like, am I
absolutely
stupid?
not. No, you're not.
No, he made an intentionally, jokingly.
All we need are some
Goofy.
listeners in Australia, and we'd be global.
Okay,
Yeah.
if
We'll
you
be
have
on
a
every
friend in
continent.
Australia, just make them download one episode.
Yeah, that way we could be
That's all we
global,
need. Then
man.
we're in
That's all
every
we need.
single
And we're
continent.
global.
Continent.
Continent.
Okay, that's how you say that
Continent.
word.
So because I want to, since we talked about missing people, possible murders, aliens, ghosts, well, we haven't talked about ghosts, but it could be ghosts, all those shadows,
Almost.
strange legends, all of the things. Now let's do something a little different. I want to hit everything. So cults.
Oh no!
Are there
Wait,
cults
we've already
on-
covered cults in our first episode.
Our cult episode, but no.
Yeah.
Cults on Route 66 because
Oh.
though there is no solid evidence of any organized cult groups, there are reports of isolated communities, fringe belief groups. Come on, it's New Mexico, guys.
Yeah.
And people who don't want to be found. Also, there have been sightings of like fires, like people driving down the road and they see like group of people around like a fire out in the desert, just randomly. Just saying, cults. Fires in the distance, strange gatherings, symbols found off-road. Are they real or are they supernatural? Probably not, but in the dark from a moving car, they don't need to be.
They're spooky either way.
Well, and I've done that. I mean, if you've ever, you haven't lived in New Mexico your life, Ginger, but you go out into the desert, which for some reason, when I was young, I don't know if you had this experience too. I don't do this with my daughter. When I was young, my mom and her friends would often go, here's an idea. Let's go into the desert. And we'd go into the desert for the day and we'd walk around and we'd look for arrowheads and we'd look at bluffs and we'd be really, really overheated.
Yeah.
No, I've done that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Right. But it was just like, and it's so funny because I'm like, oh, I've never inflicted that on I've never offered that experience to my child. I've never made her go into the deep desert but there are often things you find. I don't think I've ever gone in the deep desert where I didn't find something kind of, let's call it witchy.
I have a
something
scary
a
desert
little
story.
witchy, huh?
I have a scary desert story.
Okay.
My parents live out in the middle of nowhere, kind of in between towns, for lack of a better term, because like they're close to a very small town. So when I still lived with my parents, one night we heard a bunch of random shouting out in the desert because there's empty desert beside my parents' house, and we're like, "What in the world? Like, who's shouting? What's going on?" There were a bunch of drunk guys. They caught fire to the desert by our house. I had to call the cops because the fire was moving toward our house. And they were also shouting obscenities at our Hispanic neighbors. They were calling very mean names. Oh,
Jerks.
it was not a great time.
No, I'm talking about like walking through the desert. You're looking around, you're hanging out, and you find a grouping of rocks. Go to the grouping of rocks, and there's obvious, we have like pinyon trees, and we have a few small trees, and there's a bunch of dead branches that have been cut apart, and you walk up to the rock structure, and someone has built like a little hut in there, and there's symbols in there, and
figure,
or something
from the dead branches,
and there's like a bunch of dead sticks and symbols, and then pornography.
Oh yeah,
always
in
Almost
that
every time.
like
maybe a couch.
hovel,
maybe a couch.
and maybe a couch,
and
or
always one shoe.
a dirty, scary looking mattress.
Yeah.
I found
Yeah.
I have found dirty, scary looking mattresses in the
More
middle
often
of the
than not.
desert more than I want to talk about. And I'm like, why did somebody drag
I
this
found it at
mattress
the
out
park.
here? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Wait,
Bird Park.
okay.
That was
Hold on. I have the best story about finding something in a park after the ginger.
Okay.
In the area where they were trying to catch the desert on fire, I forgot about this until you said finding scary things in the desert.
Oh yeah.
There is a tree that is growing out of like a short little cliff by my parents' house. And we hiked over to this tree one time, and it was covered in stolen purses.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like writing on the rock and stuff, but like it was just a stolen purse tree. And we didn't want to like touch anything because that's like, why is that there? But I also wanted to open the purses and see what was in there, because like there was one that was like laying
Treasure.
open, and it had a wallet, and it had like an ID in the wallet and all kinds of stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we maybe should have called the cops.
You should have called the cops.
Probably.
Yeah.
Should probably call the
In
cops.
hindsight,
My dad said not to. He was
Why?
like, it's not important. If somebody's like,
theft tree. That's someone's stealing tree.
It's the giving tree.
I'm sorry to anyone whose purse may have been stolen in New Mexico and left in a tree.
and Ginger
together.
just
It's never too
didn't
late to
care.
call the cops.
I don't know if it's still there. I could go hike out to it. I know where it is.
Let's all go. Let's all
Yeah,
go.
Yeah, I would love to.
Let's
We need to go to the thieving tree.
the thieving tree.
Okay, and Pixie.
Oh yeah, back to my park story. Okay, so you want to talk about weird things in the park, right? So the other day we were at a park in Aztec, and while we were walking to this park, I found a spark plug. That's not the thing. I found a spark plug, and then the ginger goes, "Oh, let's play the who can find the weird trash game." And we get to the park, and lo and behold, you'll never, ever in a million years guess what we found.
It's a mattress, I'm guessing.
No, somebody
Someone
had
passed out by the river.
shat their tighty-whities.
Oh, I believe it.
Removed their pants, left their tidy whities, wiped their ass with a sock, left a sock next to the tidy whities, and left. It was really gross. It was just filled to the brim with shit.
And then our friend,
Somebody's not having a good day.
our
Oh, I
friend
know it.
found a dead fish.
Oh yeah, and then we found the dead fish.
And picked it up and tried to skip it on the river. And instead of it skipping on the river,
Wait, who picked it up?
our friend, I don't know if she wants me to say her name on the podcast, but she picked up the dead fish. No,
Married,
it was
of
not.
course, because
And
she's a keeper.
She tried to skip, well, because her boyfriend was skipping rocks, so she was like, I'm going to skip
So
this
I'm going to
fish.
skip a dead fish.
The dead fish.
Touching dead things never caused a
The
problem.
dead fish didn't skip. It fell right into the water, and then my dog tried to eat it.
Dude, your dog had it in her mouth for
Yeah.
a minute.
My dog Claire, she was like, "Ooh, a treat."
So, folks, visit beautiful New Mexico. The people are so very interesting.
Just don't look under the bushes for shat pants.
And don't pick up the dead fish you find. They could have germs.
There's lots of dead things I found out
Exciting New Mexico. Oh, sorry.
You never picked up a dead thing in a park.
No!
here. You never.
Why would I pick up a dead
Wait.
thing?
Whoa,
Collected
let me-
skulls,
I have a dog skull that me and my dad found one time when we were bowling. It's my favorite.
Why
It's
do
So
you-
my favorite
anyway,
dog
back
skull.
to the story.
Oh, no, I'm just silently judging you. It's
Oh,
fine.
what, for
You
picking up
never
skulls?
picked up a skull?
Have you ever went shed hunting?
No.
Did you ever catch lizards?
Please tell me
I've
you
caught lizards, yeah.
Okay, at least you did something.
I didn't kill them.
The
We
the-
don't-
I didn't kill him either. there?
I don't know. You're into skeletons and stuff. I thought maybe you were just like lizard murderers.
Blue-tailed
skinks.
Yeah.
I was told by my little sister, the lizard nerd, that I am supposed to inform you all that they are not skinks. And
I tried to say that last time, but nobody wanted to listen to me.
My wife says they are skinks, so
They're slightly different. They're
Horny
not the
toads are from
exact
the
same
catch?
thing.
Huh?
Horny toads are from
I
the
love
catch?
horny toads.
They spit blood out their eye.
Yeah,
Ew, I
kinda
know it's
spooky.
gross. They spit it out their eye.
One
he
time-
said?
They do.
They
One
shoot
time
it.
we
They
found one
shot
that was
the
like
cat
this big. It was fat. For the people that can't see my hands, it's the size.
no one
of-
can see your hands.
It's the size of.
It's a 4-inch circle.
No.
Have you ever been bit by a lizard that you got?
It's like
that
the
you
size
caught,
of a
though?
personal pizza from Pizza Hut when you would finish your book-it reward.
Oh, okay, a 6-inch circle. I used to make pizzas.
Bringing out the book-it knowledge. All of you book-it kids,
Yeah, I
comment.
forgot about Book-It.
But have
I
you
still
ever
have my
been
trophies.
bit by a lizard that you caught?
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't let go.
Nope.
They
They
do
hold on
not
for
let go.
You shake it. It's just,
I got in trouble on the way to Utah one time because we got out of the car for a rest stop and I was catching lizards and I got one stuck to my finger.
Yep.
And my dad was like, "We're going to be late for dinner." I was like, "We're going to be late for dinner." It's like, we got to make the grandma's out for dinner.
He was probably hungry. He probably wanted his mom's cooking.
She cooks really good.
his mom's cooking.
Cooking.
Okay. So when you talk about professionals who also have these experiences, grounded professionals like police officers, truckers, dispatch, they will often describe vehicles that aren't where they're supposed to be or on time. Drivers can go into full panic with no visible threat. Lights or figures are reported in the same areas repeatedly. These are, as I said, professionals. These are people who drive long distances every day, and yet they still have these panics, see these figures, have these same experiences. Now, fatigue explains a lot. Isolation explains it even further. But the consistency of these reports is worth noting. It's also what keeps the legend of Route 666 alive. Here's the real core of this story. Once a road is called 666, everything changes. An accident isn't an accident. It's a sign. A shadow isn't just a shadow. It's something watching you. A long, empty road doesn't feel lonely. It feels intentional. And over time, stories don't just get told. They evolve. They're repeated. They reinforce one another. They become a part of the place itself. U.S. Route 666 doesn't need ghosts to be frightening. It has distance and isolation and history. People have died there. It has enough unanswered questions and missing people to let the rest just grow on its own. The road is still there. The accidents happen. People are real. The rest depends on what you believe. So the next time, or the first time you drive through the desert, check your rearview mirror and make sure that what you see stays there.
I already don't like driving at night. Why did we do this?
I'm driving.
Yeah, but I have to drive.
So I wanted to do this episode because I do find it intriguing. And if you come from here, it's an interesting story because it's like the whole grouping of all of the things that happen on Route 666 or 491, whatever. It happens all over in New Mexico. If you ever go into the desert, you don't really have to be on Route 66. If you just walk through the desert at low light.
On a horse with no name?
No. I used to do the Anasazi pageant, and that's just out in the amphitheater here just outside of town. And we used to see all sorts of stuff because it's just out there. Not at the theater where we had lights, but if you looked out into the desert, you'd see stuff.
Did I tell you about the time I was walking in the desert in the middle of the night with my dad, and he was like, "We should go under this tunnel that goes under the highway," and a bat flew into my face.
No, but you did now.
It was kind of scary.
And then you
He
ate the
was
bat.
like,
"This is
Ozzy
kind of
Osbourne.
I'm
fun."
not Ozzy Osbourne.
A bat flew into my eye.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Don't forget to do all the things. Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.